All you want is my dodo. Oh no, but why you leave me go? See me now, I am solo. Hey, baby, still your baby.
It's blazing the beat, baby.
You must have seen some online videos showing scenes of what happened recently in some branches of commercial banks and BRT terminals. Looking critically at these videos, it shows that some Nigerians threw caution to the wind, risking their lives upon the gradual lifting of the lockdown. In this time of the COVID-19 pandemic, it is important we remind ourselves some salient information and precautions needed to combat the pandemic. What is COVID-19? Information released by the World Health Organization, WHO, concerning the virus includes COVID is pneumonia of unknown cause detected in Wuhan, China. It was first reported to the World Health Organization country office in China on 31st December 2019. The outbreak was declared a public health emergency of international concern on 30th January 2020. On 11 February 2020, WHO announced a name for the new coronavirus disease, COVID-19. How does it spread? COVID-19 is spread through respiratory droplets when an infected person coughs, sneezes, or speaks. People can also be infected by touching a contaminated surface and then touching their eyes, mouth, or nose. How can one prevent getting infected? Some myths hold that the virus is killed by high temperature. Exposing yourself to the sun or to the temperatures higher than 25 degrees centigrade does not prevent coronavirus disease, COVID-19. You can be infected with COVID-19 no matter how sunny or how the weather is. Countries without hot weather have reported cases of COVID-19. To protect yourself, make sure you wash your hands frequently and thoroughly, and avoid touching your eyes, mouth, and nose. Very importantly, you must avoid contact with persons who may be infected. To this end, physical distancing, use of face mask, repeated washing of the hands with soap, and application of sanitizer cannot be overemphasized. Do not throw caution to the wind. Be mindful of your health and the safety of your loved ones. Do not throw your family into mourning. Stay safe. Ensure you practice social distancing. COVID-19 is here. Together, we can prevent this.
When we talk about the blessings of God, Nigeria is one country that is thoroughly blessed, because in spite of all the challenges that we have, we still remain one indivisible entity. A lot of people had expected that this country was going to, break into splinters, especially with the 2015 elections. There were so many predictions in 2014, but here we are today, standing firm, standing strong. Yes, we have our differences, we have our challenges, each geographical location asking and clamoring for one thing or the other. yet we remain as one. And it's because we are united, that is why we can come to you, we can grace your television screens and welcome you to Morning Ride, Nigeria's longest running breakfast television show. I am Ololade Adeniji Adele. It's with a heart full of gratitude because I know that not everyone who slept last night is awake today. So, well, for those of us that are here, in spite of the coronavirus pandemic, we're still alive and well. We have every cause to give thanks to God, while also giving appreciation to God. I don't know in your own part of the town, but I'm sure that practically all parts of Lagos have experienced rainfall in one form or the other. Interestingly, somebody told me that, the rainfall in my area, it's as if there was a burst dam. That is to show you how much the rains came down. But in all, of course, this is the rainy season. We give thanks and we're trying to stay safe as much as possible. Now, like it or not, the figures are rising. They keep rising. And maybe I want to subscribe to, what Mr. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu said in his latest press briefing, where he said that it looks like there are going to be punitive measures against people who do not wear their mask. If they're found in public places without their mask, they are going to be punished for one, I don't know the form of a punishment that is going to be meted out, but for people who do not wear their mask, there are going to be punitive measures for them. So I think I want to subscribe to that. Perhaps that will get us serious, because it's alarming at the rate, people are going about believing, or is it pretending, that COVID-19 does not exist. In fact, some people, in the course of this week alone, I think about 4 different people at different fora had said to me, are you sure it is real? COVID-19 is not real, Joe. It's just, a scheme by the government to make money. It's just an avenue for the government to keep us enslaved. And I'm wondering what exactly our people are talking about here. Anyway, regardless of whatever the situation may be, it is important that we actually realize and accept the fact that COVID-19 is real. And that is how we start the show today. Morning Ride promises to be an interesting package. Basically, we're still going to be looking at the issue of communal transmission of COVID-19, what we're doing right and what we're doing wrong in actually propagating this message, so that people, Nigerians, know that it is indeed real. But let's set the ball rolling as we bring you our very first musical clip for today. It is a musical video by Buki, and it is titled Demo, featuring Angelo.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day.
It's a beautiful day with trials along my way.
Many trials on my way.
Trying to pull me down.
They're trying to pull me down.
But I am confident that I got the victory.
I'm a winner all the time.
By the one who holds me down.
And I know he got my back.
As long as he got me in his hands, I'm alright.
No matter what they say or do.
No matter what they say or do.
Yeah.
As long as he got me in his hands, I'm okay.
No matter what I'm going through.
No matter what I'm going through.
This is why.
Every day I did demo.
Yeah.
See, I got the demo.
Demo.
Oh, yeah, watch me as I demo. As long as he got me in his hand, I'm alright. I am okay.
See, my heart is grateful and my soul is thankful. Even when I don't show gratitude, your love is faithful. Man is a handful, but God is mindful. His love is like a puzzle when it's to unravel. And as we travel on the road we never been before, we stumble in a life we never lived before. Yeah, ashes to ashes and it's dust to dust. But he is for us, he is not against us. He engages the courageous to change his younger, older, middle ages. The sub is ageless when the storm rages. Forget the yellow pages, go to the rock of ages. It's wiser than the sages. Whatever your stage is, he'll make you spacious. The grace will be outrageous. Haters will go on rampages. When I'm going through, I know who got my back. So throw me to the wolves, I'll come back leading the pack.
Every day I did demo, they go. See as I did demo, as I did demo, they go. Oh, you watch me as I demo, as I did demo, as I did demo, they go. As long as he got me in his hand, I'm alright.
Yo, see, I'm a champion, it all starts in my mind. If I can see it, then you know I can't deny. So I court audacity, I date tenacity, make major moves with intentionality. Hey, stay humble as I choose my battle. Yeah, lay low like a snake that rattles. I'm not a snake and I don't rattle, so you never hear me coming. I'm gentle as a dove, snake cunning. You ain't seen someone dance till you seen someone survive. Someone glad to be alive, someone got us revived. Yeah, I threw a party, some didn't show up. Yeah, some came around just to tell me to grow up. When I prayed for this party and I gave for this party, so with or without you, I'm gonna have this party. And this is the confidence that I have, that when I call up on his name, he steps in on my
Every day
behalf.
I did demo, they go. See as I did demo, as I did demo, they go. Oh, you watch me as I demo, as I did demo, they go. As long as he got me in his hands, I'm alright. As long as he got me in his hands, I'm
All right, that was Buki featuring Angelo doing the track Demo. Each time I see that lady, somehow she just gets me going. So because I think I like her style. Yes, she has a very unique kind of style, and somehow it resonates with me at any particular point in time. All right. We've started the show as we ought and as we usually do. That's talking about Morning Ride. It's time for us now to take a look at the newspaper headlines that trended in the course of this week gone past. And when we return, we will take the newspaper headlines for today. But first, let's take the newspaper headlines for the week gone past.
It's always good to have you join us on our review of newspapers during the week gone past on Morning Ride. We start with the Vanguard newspaper on Monday, 29th June 2020, with this cover story. $2 billion power project. Fresh threats as FG Cements take conflicting positions with the riders. Uncertainty over cement's role. Company keeps mum. Project distribution draws discontent. Other interesting stories still on the front page of the Monday edition of Vanguard newspaper are COVID-19, 74.2% of businesses no longer operating. Nigeria Employers Consultative Association. Ohaneze cracks. Splitter group emerges. Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission. Silence won't stop implementation July 1st. Disco. Wike blasts Amechi over group's threat to destroy rivers. Or your government played politics with my husband's death. Ajimobi's wife. Details on pages 7, 8, 10, 12, and 13. The back page of the Monday edition of the Vanguard newspaper featured this sporting lead story. Igalo is a proven goal scorer. Slugs Ja beats the Maria Falcao's records at Man United. Next is the Punch newspaper on Tuesday, 30th June 2020 with this bold headline below the masthead. APC interim panel to visit Tinubu begs members to withdraw suits with the rider. Giadom hands over to Buni. Commends Buhari for saving ruling party. Details on page 2. Still on the front page of the Tuesday edition of the Punch newspaper are picture stories showing the rehabilitation of Kara Bridge along the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway as a result of last week's fire incidents involving 4 fuel tankers. Below the picture story, still on the front page of the Tuesday edition of the Punch newspaper, was this bold headline: FG OK's Primary 6, JSS 3, SS 3 resumption. Ends interstate lockdown with the riders, daycare, other primary, secondary schools, classes, higher institutions remain shut. Domestic flights to resume. Churches, mosques, cinemas remain closed. Details on page 2. The back page of the Tuesday edition of the Punch newspaper featured this sporting story. Osimhen wins McVivian Foe Award. Details on page 26. Coronavirus puts flood electricity tariff hike to test was a screaming headline that graced the front page of the Wednesday edition of the Guardian newspaper on 1st July 2020, with the riders, Gencos threatens suit over delay. Disco's government discuss poor services supply costs. Senate urges Buhari to bear costs of deferred hike. Operators deny lobbying National Assembly, putting sector in debt. Details on page 2. Other interesting stories still on the front page of the Wednesday edition of the Guardian newspaper are: rising COVID-19 cases may induce more hardships. FG warns. Gunmen abduct over 30 passengers in Nasarawa. Akeredolu test positive for COVID-19, recounts experience. No work, no pay. Cross Rivers government tells striking workers. Details on pages 3, 5, and 6. This day newspaper on Thursday, 2nd July 2020, had this lead story. In peace drive, APC caretakers meet Tinubu, Akande, others with the riders. PDP screens Ondo deputy governor, 8 others. Details on page 8. Still on the front page of the Thursday edition of this day newspaper is a picture story showing the Niger State Governor, Alhaji Abubakar Bello, Secretary All Progressive Congress Caretaker Committee, Senator Akpan Udo Edehe, Yobe State Governor, Alhaji Mai Malabuni, National Leader, Senator Tinubu, Lagos State Governor, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, and Kebbi State Governor, Alhaji Atiku Bagudu, during the committee's visit to the APC national leader in Lagos. Other interesting stories still on the front page of the Thursday edition of this day newspaper are: Buhari drops Ogunlade, Nsofo renews 12 non-career ambassadors. NLC PDP rejects petrol price hike. Demand reversal. Military targets Boko Haram sponsors. FG laments astronomical rise in COVID-19 cases. Details on pages 5, 6, and 8. And lastly, on the review of newspaper headlines during the week gone past is the Punch newspaper on Friday, 3rd July 2020, with a screaming headline: Federal government warns medical directors over rising deaths in hospitals, with the riders treat emergency cases on stretchers if there are no bed spaces, minister tells CMDs. Coronavirus spreading faster than system can handle, FG warns Nigerians. Ondo commissioner dies, Akeredolu's wife, aide, tests positive for COVID-19. Details on pages 2 and 9. And that's it on the review of newspapers during the week gone past. Morning Ride continues shortly.
All right, that was the review of newspaper headlines in the course of the week. Basically, several stories, political stories about, the reconciliation and the efforts aimed at reconciliation in the APC, the visit to the national leader, Bola Tinubu. Also, the newspapers had stories on the proposed, okay, is it proposed now, or intended hike in a tariff, electricity tariff, just as we were also welcomed with an increase in petroleum price products, especially PMS, that, now goes for, I think, 143 naira or thereabout. Okay, we thought that we had begun to see a downward, trend in the prices. Although we must also bear in mind that the government warned that it's market forces that will determine the price, the pump price of petrol. So much for those headlines. We also have for today the Saturday Punch, and there are several headlines on the cover page of the Saturday Punch. We begin from above the masthead. Edo poll, Atiku, Wike, Fintiri lead Obaseki re-election campaign. That story is on page 3. And on page 9, Lagos schools resume August 3rd. Churches must remain closed. Ogun extends weekend lockdown by 2 weeks. Now beside the masthead, my husband looked like a farmer when we met. That statement is credited to Regina Daniels, the latest mother in town. Regina Daniels Nwoko, with her picture there. The boldest headline on the cover page of the Saturday Punch is says, leadership crisis, APC to get new chair, National Working Committee in November. Buni led caretaker to pacify more party leaders after meeting Tinubu. Panel to review Banire Committee report on constitution amendments. Party may okay indirect primary for Ondo. Vows to win Edo governorship election. These are the writers on that headline, and the story can be found on page 3. Beside that boldest headline, okay, that's another trending story. 168 billion naira frauds. Hush Puppy faces 20 years in U.S. prison. That story will be found on page 10. And on page 28, NSIA receives 311 million naira Abacha loot. Gross total assets to 649 billion naira. Okay. Now coming towards the bottom of the paper. 2 killed in Lagos boat accident. Pirates kidnap 9 Nigerians. That story, sad though, can be found on pages 9 and 30. And on page 15, another sad story. We don't know why our rabies test positive as cases hit 27,564. That is on page 3. Now we quickly go to the back page of the Saturday Punch, where we have several sporting stories there. Iheanacho, an impact player. That statement is credited to the Leicester City manager, Brendan Rodgers, talking about our own Kelechi Iheanacho. That's on the back page of the Saturday Punch. And still there, another bold headline which says, LMC lacks capacity to beam NPFL matches. That statement is credited to the former chairman of the league management company, Nduka Irabo. Okay, and still there to the left, our star boy in Nigeria, talking about Osimhen. Osimhen loves Napoli, says agent. That's talking about Victor Osimhen. And, well, those are the headlines on the Saturday Punch that we have for you. I'm just wondering about that story which said Ogun extends the weekend lockdown by 2 weeks. Honestly, I've never understood the rationale behind opening the state during the week and locking down at the weekends. I believe this is for the sake of the coronavirus pandemic, but a question keeps ringing in my head, that in Ogun State, does it mean that it is during the week, from Mondays through Fridays, the coronavirus pandemic is held at bay, but it moves around at the weekends, and that's why people have to, stay indoors? Well, I don't know. I'm just asking questions here. It's still morning, right? Let's take a quick break. When we return, there's more to come on the show.
Hey, beautiful, your eyes, your smile are all begging me to take you home tonight. Now reading page 3.
Experience unlimited super-fast internet access from Entel 4G.
Entel. Live.
Shey neem leaves fit cure coronavirus. E get some kind things wey talk say neem leaves, wey dey popularly known as dongoyaro for some area, fit cure or relieve the symptoms of COVID-19. Na lie o. E no get any supporting ogbonge informate wey talk say this thing na true. World Health Organization don talk say for now, no kind cure dey ground for the treatment or relief of symptoms of COVID-19. Today tip, watch as you dey spend money. When you dey make your shopping list, ensure say you put cheap food items wey you know say go last if you go too tey for house. To buy food sweet o if you dey buy am online o, but e dey chop money for pocket, so dey manage as you dey do that kind thing. Oya, quickly enter your store, check to see the kind things wey dey inside before you carry waka go buy extra or things wey you no need. Always remember to wash your hands with soap and water.